It is time to ignite those dreams of our young people and empower the youth to bring their visions to life. Now, we are partnering with the After School Graduate Development Center on the Ignite Enterprise project to provide practical tools to teach young people how to build businesses and to create employment for others. In Lagos, the possibilities are endless. Èkó ò ní bàjẹ́ o.
Lagos State, in partnership with AGDC, presents Ignite, powered by First Bank and supported by Bank of Industry.
If you are in a strange city and you have a map, you have a better chance to navigate to your destination. But without a roadmap, you have no direction, and your journey will be full of many frustrations. In fact, you may never reach your destination at all. It's the same with a solid business idea. Because even though you have a solid business idea, you still need a roadmap to achieve success. This is where goals, planning, and vision comes into play. My name is Ibukun Awoshika, and I welcome you to Ignite TV.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.
Now, what is the most important thing about this? If you've set certain goals for your business, when the money is coming in, for me at that point, because I'm in a manufacturing business, buying machinery was important. So all the money that we were generating, the only thing I was focused on was buying the next machinery and the next machinery and the next tools and all that, because I understood enough about the business at that point to know that the game changer for the business will be the machinery that I had, because it affects the quality we're able to deliver and the speed at which we're able to deliver to our customer. One thing that should be important to you is, if you want the business to grow over the long term, one of the first set of things you must start to acquire, especially because you are in a country where you need collateral in order to get facilities from the bank to support the growth of the business, is to acquire assets that you can use as collateral for the business. The assets will always be assets for you, but you're acquiring the asset for another reason, even though they will be investment assets for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's either, if you are in an environment where the stock market is good, you start to buy shares a little at a time, because those shares, when the environment is good, sometimes are acceptable as collateral for loans in a bank. Or you cannot buy land in Lekki, no problem. You cannot buy in Surulere, no problem. Wherever it is, you see, it's a land. In the minds of the ordinary person, you're buying a land so you can build a house. You can build a house on it later. But that land has another use or application for you. You can use that land as collateral when you get to the stage that you start. And anyway, land always appreciates in Nigeria. And the ones that appreciate the fastest are the ones that do not have the opportunity at that moment. Because by the time it opens up, then the rate at which it ramps up is much more than you can imagine. You have to think about the things that you do along the way. And it's easier to think right and to act right when your goals are set. Creating value that will support your business. And you know, sometimes we think we need to have a lot of money to do things. No, you just have to have a lot of sense and to have set a goal. So, the delays, let me teach you a simple principle. And you must never, ever forget this. Never, ever forget what I'm about to tell you. And it makes the difference between the young man who sees money for many years but ends up without anything, and the young man who sees the same or less amount of money over the same period but ends up wealthy, having acquired assets because he had a sense and he had a goal and he had the discipline to follow it. You know, if you gather a lot of sand and you fill this stage with sand, what will you have? Sand. If you gather sand, whatever volume, and what will you have? Sand. If you add more sand to it, what will you still have? Okay. If you take the sand and it's now enough to mold a block and make this chair the block, what will you now have? Let's consider that this chair is the block. What will you have? You will have block. When you do this to your block, what will you have in your hand? In your entire business life, never ever touch the sand of your money that you are gathering until you have molded your block. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know why? What can happen to sand? It can be washed away. It can be what? Wind can come and blow it. It can scatter. It's very easy for money at a certain stage, when it has not been gathered enough in a concrete form, to scatter. If you eat your dinner in the morning, what will happen? You'll have stomach ache. But that's what happens to a lot of young people. In the early days of your business, because you don't have set goals and understanding of your long-term target, and you're not measuring anything along the way, everything is possible. And you tend to scatter your sand. You don't gather it. But some do. To determine if your goal is measurable, you must ask such questions as, how much? How many? And how will I know when it's accomplished? It must be easy for you to know how much you're supposed to have if the goal is accomplished. How many? If it's 5 houses, if it's 2 million naira, if it's 1 factory, if it's 100 employees, if it's 10,000 products produced. You understand what I'm saying? You must find an easy to identify with way to measure what your goal is. Attainable goals. Let's look at how. When you identify goals that are most important to you, you begin to figure out ways you can make them come true. Now, please note, and it's really important, that for everything I am saying to you, measuring or when it comes to attaining the goals, they must be legal goals. They must be attainable within the laws of the land and the laws of God. Because anything that is illegal is not sustainable over the long term. And anything that is illegal can give you temporary success, but could also destroy you below 0.0 after. So when you're setting your goals, make sure that those goals are attainable within the law of the land, within the laws of the land, and within the laws of God, and with respect for every other human being. You must develop the attitudes, the abilities, skills, and financial capacity to reach them. I want to become the CFO of a company. The CFO of a company, I have HND accounting. What should be part of my goal? What? ICANN. Even if I sit the ICANN module 1 and I fail the module 1, should I give up? So when you have a goal, you are encouraged. So every challenge you meet along the way of attaining that goal, it's easier for you not to give up because that is a need towards a goal. Do you understand what I'm saying? As opposed to just something you want. If it's just to be able to put ACA behind your name without anything, wanting to put ACA behind your name in itself can be a goal. But even attaching that to another goal makes it even that much more important. So your goals must mean something to you. They must be satisfying. They must be part of the things that will bring you pleasure in life. And pleasure is not drinking and chasing women and all of that, but things that you will look at and they will make you proud. Even if it's only to encourage your children and those around you that it's possible. There must always be meaning to your goals. So, deciding that you want to set up a business, those goals must be attainable within the context of the larger goals for your life. That way, you don't give up at crossroads. Because crossroads are real. Problems and challenges in business, they are real. And you will get to them.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.
What do I like? I like what I do. I like going on holiday with my family. And I like my car. I like gadgets. And I like my bank.
If your bank were us, you would like us too. Since 1894, we have built a strong and stable financial institution based on insightful local know-how, global reach, and a commitment to deliver to you world-class innovative solutions. First Bank, truly the first.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.
My name is Mona Lisa Abimbola Aze. I'm Chief Executive Officer, Creative Director, Mona Matthews. Mona Matthews is a purely Nigerian brand, and what we basically do is design and produce shoes that are handcrafted here in Lagos, Nigeria. I studied law at the University of Lagos and I practiced law. I actually had my own law firm, but I found out that there's a creative side to me that wasn't being expressed as a lawyer. And I tried my hands in a few things, but eventually I got led into making shoes. That's how Mona Matthews started. The major problems I had starting off my business was getting the kind of personnel that I wanted to make the kind of shoes that I wanted. My kind of production is 100% handcrafted. So the whole process is made by hand. And when I started, I wanted to make female shoes. And I wanted to make exotic female shoes. I didn't just want to make sandals or the slippers, flat sandals or slippers that everybody else was willing to make. I wanted to make high heels. I wanted glamour. I wanted bling from day one, you know. And a few of the shoemakers that I met were like, oh, you know, we don't make female shoes, you know, and stuff. And I wanted to make female shoes. There were lots of beautiful big women who couldn't find the kind of shoes that they wanted in the colors and styles that, you know, they wanted. So that was my first niche, and I went after them. And it wasn't difficult because I already fall into that category, and I had a certain idea of what will appeal to them and all of that. But following closely on that, I realized that being a shoe designer and producer in Nigeria, there was a market for shoes, you know, coordinated shoes and bags, the kind of shoes that a bride would want to wear for her traditional wedding, and the bride's mother and the bride's sister, you know. So I cottoned on to the fact that the wedding industry was very vibrant, still is, and that was a very good niche for me as well. One thing I've learned about business is you will make mistakes. You will experience loss. You will have, you know, maybe to make refunds or repairs or whatever that will cost you money. But the important thing really is to just keep going on. In 10 years, I mean, goodness, I have had all kinds of issues, but it's just to keep going on. You wipe your tears and you move on and you move on to the next thing. And fortunately for me, there are loads of people around who encourage me, and I tend to want to listen to those ones more than those who discourage me.
Ignite, from dreams to reality.
When you have articulated your goals, it's easier to see opportunities that others overlook. Why? Because there's something that makes it obvious to you. Because out of every crisis, many will fall. But if you have your own goal, and your goals are right, and you stay with it and you defend it, you will eventually rule the space that every man will leave open for you. Once you set attainable goals, you begin to see previously overlooked opportunities where others do not see. You can attain almost any goal you set when you plan your steps wisely and establish a time frame that allows you to carry out those steps. You know, if you say, I must do this within the next 12 months, if you don't, in 12 months, you will have to evaluate why and find out what is wrong and correct it. And as you correct it, you will determine if indeed you were wrong in thinking that was attainable in the first place. Sometimes you will even go out and execute. And you'll find out that the mode you've chosen to execute in will not achieve what you actually set out to do. And you're going to have to review. But your specific goal will not change. When you list your goals, you list it in line with your self-image. There's a way you perceive yourself. There's a way you perceive who you want to be and how you want to be seen in the short term, in the medium term, and over the long term. And what you do in trying to attain it must in itself make you worthy of those goals. And you develop the traits and the personality that allows you to possess them. Realistic goals. To be realistic, a goal must represent an objective towards which you are both willing and able to work. A goal can be both high and realistic. You are the only one who can decide just how high your goals should be. Some of the hardest jobs you ever accomplished actually seem easy simply because they were a labor of love. Because you had to work towards them because they're something that you love to do. Do you understand what I'm saying? At the end of the day, the goals that you set must give you pleasure. And that's why they're a labor of love. Timely and tangible goals. A goal should be grounded within a time frame. With no time frame tied to it, there's no sense of urgency. If you want to start a business, when do you want to start it? Someday, which means never. Because that's never going to work. But if you anchor it within a time frame, by 1st of May, we must have moved into the factory location. By 1st of May, that shop must be open. By 1st of May, I must have made my first sale. Then you have something that you're being driven towards. Then you set your unconscious mind into motion to begin working on the goal. Your goal is probably realistic if you truly believe that it can be accomplished. And that's important. Additional ways to know if your goal is realistic is to determine if you have accomplished anything similar in the past, or ask yourself what conditions would have to exist to accomplish this goal. Anyway, I'll take 1 or 2 questions.
My medium-term goal is to become a millionaire in the next 2 years, and I have less than 2 years to achieve that. But practically, it's possible, but it's tough. Because when you are young...
Let me ask you a question in the interim. When you say I want to become a millionaire in the next 2 years, in net assets or in turnover of your business?
Okay,
because they're 2 separate things.
Income.
Income.
Yes. Business-wise and asset-wise.
Okay. But you know, all your income is not available money to you. So is it in terms of the turnover of your business or in personal wealth that you've built?
Okay, I would say personal wealth.
Okay.
Assets.
Okay.
Assets. So I said it looks practically tough, but I know it's possible. But can you give practical advice to easily achieve those goals as a business guy.
Averagely, in a month, from your business right now, after you've taken out all your expenses, what do you have left?
Between 15, 20K.
Between 15 to 20K. Now, do you live from that 15 to 20K?
For now, yes.
Okay, fine. So, averagely, how much do you spend a month living from the 15 to 20K?
And between 5,000 and 7,000.
Yeah.
Then sometimes miscellaneous and other expenses you didn't plan for.
Okay. Now, so if I say to you that from your 15 to 20K every month, what you are sure and you're certain that if you take out of the 15 to 20,000, it will not hurt your ability to live and to do the business. Will 5,000 be a good amount?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, the best thing to do is start first with that 5,000. It means that your goal to achieve 1 million in 2 years might be tough, but it's possible. So what you do is within the 2 million goal, within the million goal, set a smaller goal. Okay? Say to yourself, I want to achieve the goal of 1 million in lots of 200,000. Do you understand? So you now say, okay, every month from my 20,000 that I'm sure, 15 to 20,000 I'm sure that I have as profit in a month, 5,000 is not negotiable. Do you understand? So 5,000 goes out. Once 5,000 goes out, now, if you do that for 12 months, it means you will only achieve 60,000. But not a problem. Because the important thing is you've got a goal and you're working within the scope of what you have now to build towards it. Now, when your income increases from the 15 to 20,000 to 25 to 30,000, because you can see the 5,000 that is building up, you are more, and you've been able to survive on the 5 to 7,000. It's easier for you not to increase your expense from 5 to 7,000 to 12 to 15,000, but to maintain yourself at the 5 to 7,000 and to increase your savings from 5 to 10,000 or more. So what you set as a goal, the figure itself might not be achievable, but the process is what you will achieve the most. And because you've achieved the process, it becomes easier to achieve the figure. That will be your best benefit from what you've done.
Thank you, ma'am.
Ignite. From dreams to reality.
What do I like? I like what I do. I like going on holiday with my family. And I like my car. I like gadgets. And I like my bank.
If your bank were us, you would like us too. Since 1894, we have built a strong and stable financial institution based on insightful local know-how, global reach, and a commitment to deliver to you world-class innovative solutions. First Bank, truly the first.
Ignite. From dreams to reality.
Goal setting is a habit that can make the difference between being a frustrated employee or becoming a financially independent business owner. After this program, take an hour, think, and write 20 simple goals, both for your career and your personal life. Let them be big, exciting, and very challenging. It does not matter if, as at this moment, you do not have an idea how to make them happen. Next step, set up an action plan. As all the goal setting in the world won't do you any good, you must then take the first baby step towards acting on the plan. Remember, acting on the plan. Till next time, ignite and keep the fire burning.
Send in your comments, questions, and shoutouts to our Facebook page, facebook.com/IgniteTV, Twitter/IgniteTVNG, and check out our website, www.ignite-tv.com